okay? So you wipe them. Why did we say we wiped them and not put them under water? But you can, but what does washing them do, Erin?
It takes off the first layer.
Yeah, it takes off the first layer, but what does it do to the flavour? Can anybody remember? Amber?
Reduces it.
Yeah, it reduces the flavour, so I'm just going to wipe them, okay? Now I'm going to go back to Jacob's hold. Which way am I going to have the mushroom? And I have got one that's already sliced, and it's personal preference whether you take the stalk off or whether you keep the stalk on. I generally take the stalk off in cooking, but they do stay a lot bigger if you keep it on. Charlie?
Don't you use the bridge?
Super, so what do we mean by the bridge?
Like that.
Like that?
No.
Like that.
Like that, okay. Now what kind of hold is that? It's not quite a bridge. Abby?
It's the hand grip.
It's Luke? Yeah, super. So you're going to keep it nice and firm, okay? Now if you are taking the stalk off, if you want to, all you do is you just twist it and remove the stalk. But all you're going to do is you're going to chop along. Now if you do want the stalk on, you don't want to chop them really, really fine, okay? And it's up to you whether you keep them nice and large or whether you cut them even smaller. But personally, I think it's going to be a lot tastier if you have some where you actually keep a bit of the stalk on, because it gives you a lot more flavour, okay? Now they are quite, you can see it is quite tricky to cut them because they do wobble about a bit, so if you want to work in pairs then that's fine. You probably don't need much more mushroom than that. So when they are done, they go straight into the bowl over here, okay? So I've got my mushrooms. Next, I need to take my, well, it doesn't matter, you can either do your spinach or your parsley, okay? I'll take the spinach. Now this spinach, your ones have been, but this one hasn't been. What should you do with spinach before you eat it? Jack?
Do you take the, cut the stalk off?
Yeah, so a lot of people, you don't have to again, but again, personal preference, I always take it off. But what do you normally have to do with spinach, Kieran?
Clean it.
Yeah, you have to wash it. But just for speed's sake, I haven't washed this one, and I'm just showing you. Now, I did use the mushroom to cut that knife. Does it matter as much if I use now the same knife to cut this one? No. When do I need to be careful? Christian? Good lad. So if I had meat, then I would obviously use a different knife. I'd also use a different chopping board, okay? So again, it's up to you how you want to cut the spinach. Has anybody cut spinach before? Different ways of cutting it, Ebony? How shall I cut it? Jack?
What my mum does and what I do, we pile it up,
Yep.
and then we just
Chop it, okay? It's up to you again if you want to keep your spinach whole. If you want to have nice whole spinach leaves, then you can, but I'm just going to chop it. Now your knives aren't very sharp, okay? So again, spinach goes in there. I'd probably say in terms of ratios, you probably want them very, very similar. You don't want loads of mushrooms and hardly any salad, because otherwise it's not much of a salad, okay? Next one is parsley. Now we've had a sniff of this one. Can I just literally take that and put it in there? What do you think we do with the parsley, Joshua?
you have to take the stalks off.
Super, so you can take the stalks off. Now it is easier if you chop them all at once, just get rid of the stalks bit, because they're not very nice. They just get in the way. So take the stalks off. What do I do now? And can you smell that, people around here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really strong, isn't it? Amber?
They chop it.
Again, very, very similar. I'm just going to scrunch it all up, get some. Now, I'd probably say with the parsley is very, very strong. I wouldn't put much in there. I would just literally scatter it on there, because if you put the same amount of parsley as you do the spinach, it will have a very distinct flavour, okay, which you will know if you have had parsley. So at the moment, I have in my bowl, I have my mushrooms, I have my spinach, and I have my parsley. Doesn't look like much of a salad, does it? Okay. Now what we do need to do is we need to put the dressing on, okay? Now before we do that, there's one more thing that I need to add in here, and it's this. Okay, zest of lemon. What do I mean by the zest of a lemon? Sky?
Is it like
it is the skin, good girl, okay? You need a lot, but I'll show you in a second. You don't really want to go much further than when you can start seeing this white bit, okay? You just literally want, and it's up to personal taste. Some of you love lemon. Put your hands up if you love lemon. That's good. So some of you might want to put a bit more lemon in there. I'm just literally, I quite like lemon, so I'm going to put it. Can you smell it?
Yeah.
Does it smell nice?
It smells like lemon sherbet.
As you can see, just got a bit of lemon. Okay. Now we haven't finished with the lemon, because what we are going to do is we are going to use the lemon to actually make a sauce. Okay. Now I'm going to take this bowl here. What I've done is I've put everything in a chopping bowl. Now what I will have to do for you guys is you'll have to make, in the smaller bowls, you'll have to make your sauce. Okay, so we've got enough thing. So I'm going to slice the lemon. That one's not sharp enough. And again, it doesn't matter too much, but if I had time I would wash my knives in between. Slice the lemon in half. Okay. Best bit of it, what we're going to do now, Jack, squeeze. So, what do I need to make sure that I am doing though? Christine again?
Underneath so his pitch doesn't go.
Yeah, okay. You do not want, it would not be a very nice salad, okay, if you kept the pips in. So you need to make sure that you are taking it out. And again, you will use a lot smaller bowl than me. Gosh, there's a lot of pips in this one. You will use a lot smaller bowl than me because then you'll be able to get it all mixed in. So I have quite a bit of lemon in there. You want to keep going until you've got pretty much everything out of the lemon, and then that's the bit that you don't use. Okay, so I've got my lemon. What do you think I'm going to put in next? Abby?
The olive oil.
Good girl. Okay, so we're going to put in olive oil. Who has this in their house? What do we use it for? I use it a lot in cooking. Sky?
That makes stuff like a bit greasy.
To make stuff greasier, I know what you're saying. Joseph?
Put it in the pan for cooking.
You do, if you are...
So it doesn't stick.
Perfect. So if you're ever making anything, then you put it in a pan so it doesn't stick. Now we need 3 tablespoons of olive oil, okay? Now this is a tablespoon measurer and we're going to keep this one. You probably want to make sure that you're very accurate with it, but the 3 tablespoons go in here. Has anybody ever tried a salad where it's just got an olive oil dressing on? It's quite nice. It's worth having a try. So I'll pop that on there. So I've got my lemon and my olive oil, and there's one more thing, well 2 more things I need to add just a tiny little bit of. Kaylee? Salt and pepper. So Grace, take a very tiny pinch of salt. Okay. Very small. That's about as much as you need. You don't want it, if you get it too salty, you will know about it, okay? Pepper, not to everyone's taste. If you don't want to put it in, that's fine, but it will give it a nice flavouring. Kieran, just a tiny, tiny bit of pepper.
Tiny, never.
There you go, it's fine, okay? Now, what we are going to do, and there's not enough whisks, is you just need to mix it all together just so it gets a nice flavour. Now, you know how I said earlier how you don't want to try stuff? You do need to have a taste, okay? As you can see, it's kind of changed a little bit in consistency. It's gone a bit thicker, the lemon's added to it. Now, using your pinky finger, I need somebody to try and see if we're happy with it. Jack, dip your finger in, it will be very zingy.
And peppery.
What do you think?
Nice.
Emma, do you want to try? Ellen?
That is nice.
Try a little bit. And you'll all get to try your own.
You can really taste it. Peppery.
Okay. Now, hands down.
Lemony.
So, what you need to check is you need to check that you're happy with it. Now, it does need to be quite zingy, because when you put it on the salad and mix it all together, it will take away the flavour. So, you pop it in there. Try and get as much of it in, and again, you're not going to use the massive bowls, you're just going to use the little ones, and then you just need to try and mix it all together. If you really want to, you can get your hands in there, but you just need to toss it all together, so basically it coats everything together. Now this is one of the recipes, you know with our plum one we made them look really pretty? Yeah. Do you think we can do that with this? No. Okay, probably not, because once it's mixed enough, you need to make sure that it's all on there. Okay. So, and this is going to be your finished dish. So it is butter, mushroom, spinach and lemon salad.